Blessings, my dear sunflower. May God's peace, protection, and guidance surround you today. If you are an Aries, I want you to slow down for just a moment and listen carefully, because as I sought spiritual guidance for your month, one message came through stronger than anything else. You have been carrying far more pressure than you should. Not because life has demanded it, but because you've been demanding too much from yourself. I don't know if you've noticed this yet, but sometimes we become our own biggest obstacle. We convince ourselves that we have to achieve everything immediately, that success has to come now, that every goal must happen according to our own timetable. Without realizing it, we place an enormous weight on our own shoulders. Spirit keeps showing me that many of you have been living exactly like that. You've been measuring your worth by results. You've been questioning yourself every time something takes longer than expected. You've been wondering if you're falling behind while watching other people move ahead. And little by little, that pressure has stolen something precious from you, your peace. But here's what touches my heart the most about your reading. I don't see you giving up. I don't see defeat. Instead, I see something much more beautiful beginning to happen. I see you reaching a point where you finally realize that not everything depends on your effort alone. There comes a moment in life when we understand that some doors only open at God's perfect time. You can prepare yourself, work hard, remain faithful, but there are certain blessings that no amount of anxiety can accelerate. Spirit keeps reminding me of something very important for you. Sometimes we confuse control with faith. We believe that if we worry more, think more, or push harder, we'll somehow force life to cooperate. But that's not how blessings work. Some opportunities arrive exactly when your heart is finally calm enough to receive them. And I truly feel that's where your energy begins to shift. Instead of constantly asking, when is it going to happen? You'll slowly begin asking a different question. What can I do today while I wait with peace? That single change transforms everything. Because peace attracts clarity. Clarity creates better decisions. Better decisions create better opportunities. I also feel many Aries have been carrying a hidden fear that they rarely admit out loud. The fear of not becoming everything they dreamed they could be. The fear of wasting time. The fear of disappointing themselves. If that's you, I want you to hear me carefully. Spirit is not showing failure. Spirit is showing release. It's almost as if you're finally taking a deep breath after carrying emotional weight for far too long. You'll stop chasing every single opportunity out of desperation. You'll become more selective. You'll stop comparing your journey to everyone else's. And strangely enough, that's exactly when life begins to move more naturally. Success becomes much easier to recognize when you're no longer obsessed with proving yourself. Another beautiful message comes through very clearly. Stop believing that every delay means rejection. Sometimes a delay is simply protection. Sometimes the opportunity you thought you wanted wasn't truly prepared for you. And looking back months later, you'll realize that what felt like disappointment was actually divine timing. Trust that process. Not because life is always easy, not because everything will happen overnight, but because forcing doors that refuse to open only creates exhaustion. There's another door already being prepared, one that doesn't require you to lose yourself trying to get inside. If this message is speaking directly to your heart, write the word success in the comments. Not because the word itself has power, but because sometimes declaring where you want to go reminds your own mind that you're still moving forward. As I continue looking at your month, another situation begins to stand out very strongly. It involves someone you've cared about for a long time, someone whose relationship with you has changed. And what Spirit reveals about this connection may surprise you. As I continue seeking guidance for your month, another message becomes very clear. Some of you have been holding on to someone much longer than you probably should have. This doesn't necessarily mean a romantic relationship. For many of you, it could be a close friend, a family member, or someone who once played a very important role in your life. What Spirit keeps showing me is that this connection has changed. Something is different now. The relationship isn't what it used to be, and deep down, you already know that. Even so, I see many Aries trying to recreate what once existed. You're holding on to old memories, remembering how close you were, how much trust existed between you, or how naturally things flowed in the past. There's nothing wrong with valuing those memories. But Spirit gently reminds you that people evolve. Life changes people. Experiences shape people. Sometimes two people who were once perfectly aligned are no longer standing in the same place emotionally. That doesn't automatically mean the connection is over. It simply means it can't be rebuilt by pretending nothing has changed. If this person still matters to you, the relationship has to grow into something new, not a copy of the past, a new chapter. And that's actually encouraging, because I don't sense a permanent separation here. I see possibility. I see progress. I see two people who still have a path forward, but only if both are willing to accept that neither of them is the same person they used to be. Don't try to relive yesterday. Build something that belongs to today. Another message comes through very strongly, and I believe many Aries will immediately recognize it. There's something you've wanted to learn for a long time. Maybe it's a language, maybe it's technology, maybe it's a professional skill, maybe it's something completely different. Whatever it is, every time you think about it, you feel frustrated because you tell yourself, I should already know this by now. Please stop speaking to yourself that way. Growth doesn't disappear simply because it took longer than expected. Spirit isn't showing limitation. Spirit is showing unused potential. The ability has always been there. What's been missing isn't intelligence, it's consistency. You keep believing you missed your opportunity. But I don't feel that at all. In fact, I feel July encouraging you to become a student again. Don't be embarrassed to ask questions. Don't be afraid to admit you don't know something. Sometimes, pride delays blessings more than lack of opportunity ever could. If someone can teach you, let them teach you. If there's a course you need to take it. If you need guidance, look for someone who has already walked the road you're trying to travel. There's absolutely no shame in learning. The only mistake would be allowing fear or insecurity to keep you standing still. Another beautiful image comes through before I move on. Many of you will receive encouraging news about someone younger than you. For some, this is clearly connected to a son or daughter. For others, it could be a younger sibling, a niece, a nephew, or simply someone you care about deeply. You've been quietly hoping this person would make better decisions. You've been praying for things to work out, and I truly believe you'll begin seeing positive changes. I see maturity, better choices, a healthier direction. It may not happen overnight, but you'll notice this person gradually moving toward a path that brings you peace instead of constant concern. And I know how much that matters to you, because sometimes watching someone we love struggle hurts almost as much as living the struggle ourselves. Before we continue, I want you to do something simple. If you're believing for progress, not only for yourself, but for someone you love, write the word success in the comments. Let that be your declaration for this new season. Because the next message Spirit reveals is even more encouraging. I see a season beginning where things slowly start falling into place. Not because of luck, but because God is opening doors at exactly the right time. You have been waiting for someone to solve a problem that only you have the power to change. That may sound surprising at first, but stay with me. Spirit shows me many Aries placing enormous expectations on a particular person. Maybe you believe this individual is going to open a door for you, rescue a situation, create an opportunity, or completely transform your future. But what I keep sensing is that you've given this person far more influence over your life than they actually have. They're not holding your destiny. They're simply part of your journey. There's a very important difference. When we place too much hope in one human being, disappointment almost always follows. Not because that person is necessarily bad, but because we expected them to carry a responsibility that was never theirs to begin with. I feel many of you are about to realize exactly that. Someone you admired, trusted, or depended on won't have the answers you thought they had. At first, this realization may feel frustrating. You may wonder, then why did I spend so much time waiting? But don't see it as wasted time. See it as preparation, because the moment you stop expecting another person to build your future, you begin building it yourself with God's direction. That shift changes everything. Spirit also shows me another situation involving communication. There are conversations that have been postponed for weeks, maybe even months, not because nobody wanted to talk, but because neither side knew how to begin. July creates a much better atmosphere for honest conversations. That doesn't mean every conversation will be easy. Some truths may be uncomfortable. Some misunderstandings may finally come to light. But honesty heals much faster than silence. Silence often creates stories that were never true. Another area that stands out very strongly is personal growth. I feel many Aries questioning whether they're capable of reaching a higher level professionally. Some of you have looked at opportunities and immediately thought, that's probably for someone more experienced. I don't think I'm ready. I still have too much to learn. Please don't underestimate yourself. Spirit isn't showing someone incapable. Spirit is showing someone who has forgotten how much they've already overcome. Look back for a moment. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Think about everything you've survived, everything you've learned, everything life has forced you to become. You're much stronger than you give yourself credit for. And because of that, I believe July becomes a month where confidence slowly begins replacing self-doubt. Not through empty motivation, through experience. You'll start realizing that many of the challenges ahead aren't bigger than you. You've simply been looking at them through the eyes of fear instead of faith. There's also a beautiful confirmation regarding work and opportunities. I don't see overnight success. I don't see instant miracles. What I do see is steady progress. One opportunity leads to another. One conversation opens another door. One decision creates momentum for something much bigger. Don't ignore small beginnings this month. Some of the greatest blessings don't arrive looking impressive. They grow quietly, almost unnoticed, until one day you realize they changed your entire life. That's exactly how I feel this season unfolding for many Aries. And before moving forward, let me leave you with something Spirit placed strongly on my heart. Stop measuring your future based on your current circumstances. Your present situation is temporary. Your potential isn't. Because what Spirit begins revealing next involves financial movement. And I believe many of you have been praying specifically about this area of your life, your finances. Not because I see a sudden fortune falling into your lap, but because I see movement, real movement. For quite some time, it has probably felt as though you've been pushing against a locked door. Every time you tried to make progress, something slowed you down. Expenses appeared out of nowhere. Plans were delayed. Opportunities seemed to slip away just when they felt within reach. Spirit shows me that this season begins to change. Not all at once, not through some unbelievable miracle, but through small victories that start connecting with one another until you finally realize you're moving forward again. That's important because lasting prosperity is usually built one decision at a time. I also sense that many Aries have been worrying far more than necessary about money. You've been running numbers in your head, thinking about bills, wondering whether you'll have enough, questioning if your efforts will ever produce the results you've been hoping for. Spirit isn't asking you to ignore your responsibilities. Instead, the message is very simple. Stop allowing fear to make every financial decision for you. Fear creates confusion. Peace creates wisdom. One thing becomes very clear during this reading. You'll begin seeing possibilities where you previously saw only obstacles. An idea you've been considering suddenly makes more sense. A conversation opens a door. A situation that looked completely stuck begins moving again. Don't underestimate these moments. Sometimes what looks like a small improvement becomes the beginning of an entirely different financial season. Another message comes through involving agreements. If you need to negotiate something this month, a contract, a payment, a business arrangement, or even an important personal agreement, I actually feel encouraged about it. Spirit shows cooperation. Not every conversation will go exactly the way you imagine, but I don't see you walking away empty-handed. I see compromise, I see people becoming more willing to listen. I see situations finding common ground, and that could benefit you much more than trying to force your own way. Now, there's one warning I don't want you to ignore. Some of you have placed enormous hope in one particular person. Maybe it's someone who owns a business. Maybe it's someone in a position of authority. Maybe it's someone you believe has the power to completely change your professional future. Spirit asks you not to place your entire future in that person's hands. That doesn't mean they're against you. It doesn't even mean they don't want to help. The message is simply this: they don't have as much control over your future as you believe they do. Sometimes we convince ourselves that one interview, one employer, one phone call, or one recommendation will solve everything. Life rarely works that way. Your path is much bigger than one individual. If that opportunity comes, wonderful. If it doesn't, don't stop moving. Keep applying. Keep introducing yourself. Keep knocking on doors, because the blessing prepared for you isn't limited to one address. Spirit also encourages those of you who already have a job. Pay attention to the details. Not because something terrible is coming, but because small mistakes can become unnecessary problems if you're distracted. Double-check your work. Review important documents. Take your time before sending messages or making decisions that affect other people. This isn't a month for rushing. It's a month for working with excellence. Your reputation matters. The way you handle small responsibilities now may open much bigger opportunities later. And one final message before we continue. I see someone extending genuine kindness toward you. It could be a supervisor, a client, a business owner, or simply someone whose influence creates an opportunity you weren't expecting. Receive that help with gratitude. Sometimes God answers prayers through people, not because those people control your destiny, but because they're willing to become part of the blessing He already prepared for your life. Part 5. Now let's talk about your relationships, because this is one of the strongest areas of your reading. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or thinking about someone from your past, Spirit keeps bringing me back to one word: love. Not surface level attraction, not temporary excitement, something much deeper than that. The first message is for those of you who have been wondering if someone from your past still thinks about you. The answer I receive is yes. Very clearly, yes. This person hasn't forgotten you. In fact, I sense they've built an entire future in their mind where the two of you somehow find your way back to each other. The interesting part is that they don't necessarily believe it's going to happen now. To them, it's something for later. They keep telling themselves, maybe someday, when the timing is better, when life settles down, when we're both different people. Whether that future ever becomes reality is another story, but one thing is very clear: the emotional connection hasn't disappeared. If you've been feeling that someone is still energetically connected to you, you're probably not imagining it. Spirit confirms that those feelings still exist. Now, if reconnecting is something you truly want, I don't feel you're completely powerless. A simple conversation could move things forward much faster than either of you expects. Not because you should chase someone, not because you should force anything, but because both of you may be waiting for the other person to make the first move. Sometimes pride keeps two hearts apart much longer than circumstances ever did. For those who are already in a relationship, I see something different. You're craving closeness, not expensive gifts, not dramatic declarations, just presence. You want more quality time, more attention, more affection, more moments where you genuinely feel seen and appreciated. And honestly, I don't think that's asking too much. Sometimes love isn't measured by grand gestures. Sometimes it's found in the little things. A conversation that isn't rushed, a warm embrace after a difficult day, someone asking how you're really doing and actually listening to the answer. Spirit shows your heart longing for that kind of connection. The beautiful part is that I don't see your partner becoming emotionally distant. Quite the opposite. I see them making an effort. The challenge is that they may express love differently than you expect. Some people show love through words, others through actions. Some express it by protecting you, others by helping solve your problems. Not everyone speaks the same emotional language. Before assuming someone doesn't care, pay attention to how they naturally show they do. You may discover that love has been present all along, just expressed in a different way. Now, for those who are single, I absolutely love what I'm seeing. Spirit shows your heart becoming more open, not desperate, not impatient, open. There's a huge difference. You're no longer searching for someone simply because you don't want to be alone. You're beginning to understand your own value. And because of that, the energy surrounding new relationships becomes much healthier. I can see opportunities arriving through everyday life. Social gatherings, trips, friends introducing friends, public places, events you almost didn't attend, even simple conversations could unexpectedly become meaningful. Don't isolate yourself this month. Say yes to invitations. Be willing to meet new people. You don't have to force anything. You simply need to remain available for life to surprise you. One final message keeps repeating before I move on. Stop assuming that genuine love is becoming rare. There are still honest people. There are still loyal hearts. There are still meaningful connections waiting to happen. The right person doesn't need perfection. They need authenticity. And Spirit makes it very clear that your heart is entering a season where authenticity becomes far more valuable than appearances. Before we close this reading, there are two final areas Spirit wants to address. The first is your health. I'm happy to say that I don't sense a season of decline. Quite the opposite. I feel stability, recovery, strength returning. Interestingly, Spirit repeatedly draws my attention to your hands. For some of you, this could literally involve discomfort, tension, or physical recovery. For others, it's symbolic. Your hands represent what you create, what you build, and what you work for. Whatever has felt weak begins becoming stronger again. If your work depends on manual skill, creativity, craftsmanship, writing, technology, music, fitness, or anything involving your hands, I believe you'll notice greater confidence and improvement during this period. It's almost as if everything becomes steadier, more secure, more balanced. Take care of yourself. Rest when your body asks for it. Don't ignore small signals simply because you're busy. A healthy body allows you to enjoy every blessing that's beginning to unfold. Now I want to leave you with one final message that, in my opinion, is the heart of this entire reading. Throughout this month, Spirit has shown the same pattern again and again. You're entering a season of progress, not perfection. Progress. There's a huge difference. Many people spend years waiting for life to become perfect before they allow themselves to feel grateful or hopeful. But that's not how transformation usually happens. Transformation begins quietly. One better decision, one healthier relationship, one opportunity, one conversation, one door opening after another. And before you realize it, your entire life is moving in a different direction. That's exactly what I feel for you. I don't believe July will be remembered because everything changed overnight. I believe you'll remember it because it became the month where things finally started moving again. Where peace replaced constant pressure, where confidence slowly replaced self-doubt, where opportunities became easier to recognize, where your heart became more open, where your faith became stronger than your fear. One last reminder, don't underestimate yourself. You've spent too much time questioning whether you're capable enough, prepared enough, experienced enough. Spirit doesn't show limitation. Spirit shows potential. More potential than you currently see in yourself. Walk into this new season expecting growth. Not because life is always easy, but because you've already survived challenges that once seemed impossible. And if you made it through those seasons, you'll make it through this one too. Thank you for allowing me to share this message with you today. If this reading spoke to your heart, let me know in the comments by writing the word success. I love reading your testimonies, your stories, and seeing how these monthly messages connect with your journey. May God bless you, protect your home, guide every decision you make, and fill your heart with wisdom, peace, and favor throughout this month. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next reading. God God bless you.